All right, so the past perfect. Now, before we talk about the past perfect, let's remember for a second what the present perfect meant and how it was formed. If briefly, let's do that briefly. If you want a deeper look at that, which I recommend, you should watch my video, the full video about the present perfect. So anyway, the form of the present perfect was have plus third form of the verb. And an example would be we have talked for 2 minutes. The meaning of the present perfect was that we have a result that is still developing. So the reason that we used the present perfect in this case is because we have a result which is the amount of time that we have been talking. And this is a result that is still developing. So the next minute's 3 minutes, next minute's 4 minutes, next minute's 5 minutes. Right, so there's more info and better examples in my video about that. Let's look at this in a diagram now. So if this line right here is the present moment, then with the past perfect, or the present perfect, we have something that happened before, and it might still be happening, it might have stopped. But in either case, it has a result at the present moment that is still developing. Let's write this way. So here, this mark here, exclamation mark, tells us we have a result. And these dots here tell us that this result is still developing, which means that it is changing, evolving, becoming whatever it's going to be. All right, that was the present perfect. Now the past perfect. So the form of the past perfect is, again, going to be have plus third form of the verb. The difference is only going to be that this have here is going to be in the past form. So we had talked for, say, 10 minutes when our call dropped. We lost the connection, right? So you see the form here is this had plus the third form of the verb. Again, difference here is this, we use had instead of have. Okay, meaning. So the meaning is going to change a little bit. Remember, in the present perfect, we needed a result that was still developing. With the past perfect, we're going to need a result only. But this result, which means it doesn't still have, it can be, but it doesn't have to be developing. And this is going to be at a past defined moment. if you've seen my video about the past continuous, then you understand what this thing is here, define moment. In case you haven't, let's talk about it again. So we put the graph for this one. Instead of being a result now, we're still developing, we're going to have a result at a past moment. And now it doesn't have to be developing, but it can be. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Example. We had the example. So if we think about this example, here we start talking, and we talked for 10 minutes. Here's our result right here, this mark, which is 10 minutes. And our call dropped. Here's our define moment. The call dropped. In this case, we didn't continue, but we could. We could also say we had talked for 10 minutes when we changed subjects. So we started talking about something else, but you were still talking. So in that case, the result continued on. So the point of that really is that it's different than the present perfect. Present perfect, the result has to be going on. Past perfect, no. It can stop right at the defined moment, or it can keep going on. All right, so let's talk about this defined moment concept. Very important. You have to have a past moment, a defined moment, in order to use the past perfect. And that defined moment is the moment in time when you had the result. And the result is from something that happened before then. And so there are two ways that this can happen. One is by stating the time, saying the words, or two, by something happening or being, or more simply just a verb in the past simple. Alright, and our examples, both of our examples over here are defined moments where when our call dropped and when we changed subjects, and these are both things that happened. Right, but it could also be we had talked for 10 minutes when, I don't know, we had talked for 10 minutes by 10. So in that case, our defined one was this. At 10:10, we had this result. And we have what we need. We have the defined moment. Okay, so what's the easiest way to think about this? What I've told you so far, it's the way to understand what is really going on, how this whole thing functions. But there is kind of an easier way just to intuitively understand it. And that is that we use the past perfect we want to clear that something happened before something else. This is the real function. This is the use. This is a use of it. Yeah, in speech when people talk to each other. This is the meaning that they that a speaker gives to a listener when they use this tense. That there was something that happened before something else. Now, why does this work? If we need a result and everything, I mean, the real meaning is a result at a past moment in time. Why is it enough just to say that, or just to mean that one thing happened before another? The reason is that if it's ever important to say that one thing happened before another, then it's because there's some kind of result from that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be important. There's some important enough result. Okay, so let's think a little bit more about this to see how this really is the function of this. If I give you this sentence, I couldn't get in my car. Are these two sentences? The question here is it 100, like, not 99.9999, no, 100% clear and sure is this 100% clear and sure that these things are connected with each other? And that one happened before the other? Okay, the answer is no. That we can imagine a lot of situations where they aren't connected. So maybe he lost his keys afterwards. Maybe the key didn't work and he got mad and he threw them in the river, for example. That's possible from these sentences, the way that they're constructed. So maybe in this case, we would, it's extremely likely that these things are connected with each other. But other times, it might not be, and this is why we use the past perfect, to make sure that everybody understands that there's a connection between the past thing and then the later moment, and that they don't think that they're unrelated. All right, so how do we fix this? I couldn't get in my car. I had lost my keys. All right, now this had right here tells us that this happened before this one and is connected with this one. Let's get one more example. I couldn't get in my car. Because I lost, or should we say had lost my keys. So the interesting thing here is it could be either one of these. Both are correct. Now, why don't we have to use the perfect? We don't have to, okay? We can, it actually sounds better, but we don't have to. Why not? Well, the reason is because we have this word because here. This word because already connects these two things. This word because logically connects losing your keys with not being able to get into your car. And so we don't actually really need to use the past perfect here. And you can see in this way that this is really the function of the past perfect. Again, to make it clear that something happened before something else. Okay, another detail. You don't use it, don't use the past perfect just for sequences. You're not going to say, for example, I had woken up and had brushed my teeth. And had eaten breakfast. Okay, it's wrong, by the way. Don't do this. Usually. And had gotten dressed and then left the house. Now, it's not impossible that you would want to do this, but the point is, don't use it just because one thing happened before something else. You need a result, and you need it. You need a result, and there has to be a reason that you need to make this clear. There's got to be a need, to make it clear that one thing happened before the other. So normally we would say, I woke up, brushed my teeth, ate breakfast, got dressed, and left the house. Okay, let's look at a case, a very, very similar case, when you would want to use the past perfect here. So let's say you prepared for something, prepared a lot for something, and then for some reason the whole thing didn't happen, and you're kind of complaining that you had to do all these things for this thing that didn't end up happening. So you could say like, I had cleaned my house and bought lots of drinks, and it's gonna need password for all of these, and had what do people do? Decorated. And there wouldn't be and. In speech, you might do that, but writing shouldn't. I had ordered 30 pizzas. To prepare for the party. When a tornado carried it all the way with me with it and made it all for nothing. Okay, maybe let's look at the same diagram. So the point here is that we did have a sequence of events, but the sequence of events is not what's important. What's important is that there was a result of all these things. And this result, there was a result of all these things at the defined moment. Not just that there was a sequence, and the sequence is actually not even important here. Each one of these alone carries over to this defined moment, and there is a result from each of these alone at the defined moment. If you understand. Hopefully. Alright, so don't use the past perfect just because you have a sequence. normally do that, but it is possible to have a sequence of things and have a result from each one of those things, or maybe the whole sequence together. That's possible too, at this defined moment. Okay, these are the most important details about the past perfect. We have a meaning that's a little bit different than the present perfect. We don't need the result to be developing. We only need a result at a past defined moment. We have these two ways to define the moment. We can state the time, or something can happen or be, verb in the past simple. And it's best to think about the past perfect as just you need to make clear that one thing happened before another moment, both in the past, before another past moment. And if you have that meaning, if you want to use the past perfect tense in the thing that happened earlier, that happened sooner. Okay, so that's about it.